What's going on? It's Trending Story. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more well informed, make sure to subscribe and activate the notifications bell so you don't miss anything.
When at night, someone shouts outside the window and asks for help. There are a few people who want to go outside to sort out the situation. Unfortunately, most people won't even call the police, not to mention running out the door on your own and trying to help those in need. Only one of the heroes of this story is used to acting a little differently. It happened in a harsh winter in one small village. When someone late at night cries for help, people refrain from going out at that time for fear of themselves, and perhaps a few will come out to watch what happens. But what if something happened to you in a secluded place in the woods at nightfall? It is certain that in this case you will remain alone and no one will rush to save you, and you will not have solutions to get out, especially if predatory animals attack you. You will not have time to call the police and people will probably not hear you, and even if they do hear your voice, they will not risk their lives and enter the woods in the dark. But what the hero of this story did is exceptional and deserves to be commended. The events of this story took place at a very cold winter in a small village in southeast Russia, and since the population was sparse in those areas, there was only one school where children came from faraway places to study. It is good when the weather is nice. There are buses that transport the school students, but in the winter it becomes complicated, especially when the heavy snowfall. As the buses are unable to travel on the road because the snow prevents them from doing so, and thus children and teachers are forced to travel those long distances on foot until they reach school. The biggest danger to children and teachers in this situation is predators that roam the wild in search of food. When everything is covered by snow, food sources become few and scarce, which makes predators attack whatever they find in front of them and prey immediately. Hungry wolves come out of the woods in the evening and wander near villages in search of an opportunity to get food, and they are very aggressive and predatory. In winter, children and teachers are forced to go to school in large groups and across the highway, and teachers warn students about the danger of wolves and give them some instruction to take precautions. On one occasion, a young teacher was late to school because she kept arranging some items and fixing holes in the ceiling of the department where she taught. When she left the school, she found that the children and her fellow teachers had left, and that it was now dark. The young woman, who lives about 3 kilometers away from the school, thought about staying overnight inside the school, but she decided to go home because her little boy needed her, and she couldn't be away from him for that long. The young woman went to the store, bought some things, and started walking the big road to her home. The road was on because the lights were on all the way, which removed a little fear of the young woman. The road was completely empty of people, and when the teacher arrived in the middle of the road, she heard the sound of wolves howling, which made her terrified, as she walked quickly and turned around her every time perhaps a wolf would attack her. The voices were getting stronger and closer to the young woman, and when she looked behind her, she noticed 4 wolves heading towards her. Then she started running and crying for help. The wolves were very hungry and began to grow their fangs, and although the wolves did not like the light, as it is known, they were very hungry and started running towards the young woman while making frightening sounds. The young woman kept running on the road, and she was tired a lot, and her speed began to decrease. And when she realized that the wolves were about to follow her, she began to think of a trick that might help her get rid of these predators. The young woman remembered that she had bought matches from the store she came to when she got out of the school, and she took out a notebook from her bag and lit a fire and threw it on the ground. And then she kept running and took a second notebook and lit it up and kept holding it in her hand. The fire slowed the wolves a little. They stopped when they saw the fire on the road, and when it was out, they continued running after the young teacher. The young woman kept running, burning the papers and throwing them on the ground, and suddenly a house appeared in front of her, at which point she started crying out for help, but no one appeared. She burned all the papers that she had, and she was very tired and could no longer run. Then she stopped and kept holding the last leaf in her hand and waited for the hungry wolves to attack and prey on her. The 4 wolves surrounded the young woman and started approaching her, but in the meantime, one of them fired bullets into the sky and then came running towards the young woman. He was an old man holding a rifle in his hand, shooting wolves. That old man is a fisherman, and he was at his house watching the TV, and suddenly he heard a sound coming from outside. Then he took his rifle and bullets and ran out to see what was happening outside. The man came running and his dog followed him, as he shot at the wolves and hit one of them, while his dog attacked two other wolves and dropped to the ground and kept fighting with them. And when he fired the third bullet, all the wolves fled and moved away, while he approached the young woman to check on her. He found that she was under shock and completely speechless. Then he helped her stand up and took her to his house and allowed her to stay there and spend the night at her house. When the hunter put the young woman near the stove, he remembered that his dog was no longer with him and immediately went out to the scene to search for his dog. But unfortunately, he found him there dead because he received fatal blows from the wolves. The hunter was very sad about what had happened with his dog, whom he loved so much, but he was proud that he had died defending the woman who had been unprotected. The hunter did not consider himself a hero, as he only played his role in helping others, for the teacher is someone who risks his life every day in order to carry out her noble mission of educating and raising children, and then that is why she must be protected and defended when she is in danger. The wonderful dog was also the hero in this story, as he intervened to protect the young woman and remained near his owner, fighting these predators until the last moment of his life. He deserves all recognition and respect, as does his hunter, who was extremely brave. The young woman remained grateful to that hunter and to his dog as well, for she came to visit the old man in his house, and sometimes went to visit the dog who sacrificed his life in order to save her, as she decided not to forget him throughout her life. Their dogs are trained in 4 key areas: obedience, tracking, property searches, and building searches, meaning they are always ready for whatever challenge put in front of them. But because dogs are awesome and people still have hearts, another woman. Happy ending, right? It's so comforting to know there are individuals around us who will show love and kindness to complete strangers. We're so grateful for this wonderful act of kindness that meant the world to a little girl having a hard time. After reading this story, we believe that pets are able to understand when people are helping them, and are even able to show their love and gratitude to those who help them. We truly wish this little pup and his siblings all the best as they begin their new lives. All of them deserve to have a forever home and a beloved owner who will never abandon them and leave them alone. What do you think about this video? Have you ever seen something like this before? Feel free to tell us your thoughts in the comment section below. If you love this touching story, please share it with your friends and family members.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.